welcome back. So, we are continuing this. It is a new day. It's a new day. And I'm already mildly scared. And apparently I'm dying. Okay. So, I wanted to address one comment that I got as soon as I woke up. Well, I got it before I woke up, but I saw it on the way. Yeah, you get the idea. Do I gush over every game I see? No, I don't. But how could you not with this game? Like, even the wall. Look at the wall crumbling. It's not like, oh, it's just like a faint circle that disappears because you want to be able to see the character. It moves and disappears with her, and it's so creative. The amount of work that went into every single animation, not just for this character, but for the entire world, is immense. Absolutely immense. Now, I don't know everything that goes into making a game, and I won't confess for that. I just don't. I'm not a developer, a designer, an artist. I don't know all this stuff. However, I do have friends in the industry, and I've learnt so much about game development. And I know for a fact that this takes months, maybe years, depending on what they do. I mean, a game generally takes years, but this is something that just blows me away, really, with how elaborate it all is. I will say though, when it comes to games, I like to be a very positive person. Oh, jeez. And hear me out. When you get game reviews, you normally get... It's normally someone who has played so many games, and they're a fan of games, don't get me wrong, but they've played so many games in their time that sometimes they just... If they see a negative, they associate it as being purely bad and nothing else. There can be no good to it. And I can't see that. When I see something bad in a game, I want to know why. Is it just me? Because there's a possibility it is. There's a real possibility it's just me who isn't a fan of this thing that I don't like. And I don't want to attribute... Oh god. I don't want to attribute, you know, like one shortcoming to just my input. It might just be, you know, me. But if I wasn't excited for games, like... I think one of the games I think bodes well for this. Paper Mario Color Splash. Everyone was like, oh, this is Sticker Star 2, and I was adamant that it wasn't. It didn't look or feel like Sticker Star 2. It did so much that was different and so much that was new that I didn't think it was going down that route. The more we learned, the more it did look like it was being like a Sticker Star 2 kind of scenario. And I still maintain that it won't be Sticker Star 2. But it has elements from it. It has elements from Sticker Star that people won't ignore and people won't forgive. And that's fine, that's their deal. Now, on top of that... Oh wow. On top of that... Where do I go here? Do I jump to that? No. Yeah, on top of that, like... If I wasn't excited for these games, then I would lead a pretty miserable existence, wouldn't I? I'd just be like, oh, I'm really not looking forward to this shitty game, let's just play it. Okay, I guess I'm going to play another game because I'm going to ruin my life playing this game. No, that's boring. That's pointless. Why get annoyed or angry at something I don't even know? I did that once, years ago, with a game called Skylanders. Everyone knows Skylanders. For better or worse, however you want to see it. Now, my instant thoughts were banned... Oh, whoa, okay. Isle of Shout. My instant thoughts were jump on the bandwagon. It's a terrible game, they've ruined Spyro. I didn't even see gameplay. I just heard about it and hated it. And I played it and I was so wrong. It wasn't the Spyro game as we know it, no. But why is that bad? Still a good game. Yeah, you have to buy toys, sure. Not everyone's a fan of that. Doesn't stop it being a good game. Doesn't stop it being a very solid platformer. A very interesting, just fun story, you know? It's just fun. Whoops. Doesn't stop that from being the case. And I think in the state the world is at the moment, which is, if we're going to be honest, consumed by immense fear, whether it be who's running for office, or the attacks around the world, the racial issues that are seeming more prominent. We don't need an intense negative opinion immediately. It's just idiotic. What we need is, I don't know, just a positive outlook. Wanting to see the best immediately, and that's what I try to provide. I have my off days, and I instantly just be like, oh, this is awful, oh, I hate this. Everyone has that. Everyone has their off days. Whether it's, whatever the reason may be. For all you know, maybe a family member's just died. Maybe they are dying. That actually is the case in the scenario, but that's not the point. The point being, you can't just immediately hate something without justification. Also, this is mildly terrifying. And I think, you know what, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Whoa. The Final Fantasy 15 delay. For those who don't know, Final Fantasy 15 was supposed to come out September 30th, and they delayed it to November, I think, 29th, in favour of just making sure that they were going to have a day one patch anyway, but they want to make sure it's on the disc for those who just don't have a decent internet. They want everyone to experience the game in its entirety. And that's a great idea. Because they're right, some people have terrible internet. Some people, depending on how big this patch is, say it's a gigabyte. Some people, it takes hours to download a gigabyte. Some people just can't download a gigabyte. Not for days. And they're right, people shouldn't have that issue. A game delay is a good thing that will benefit the game at 100% of the time. If there is a delay, it's because it's not ready. It's not ready for you. If you want the game you want, accept the delay. It's not a big deal. In Final Fantasy's case, we've waited 10 years for this game. 2 more months is not a problem. Not even slightly. No delay is a problem. It just means you don't get to play it straight away. But there are so many other great games that you can play. Ones you already own and ones that are coming out. Amazing, beautiful, brilliant games like this one. Oh, wow. Oh dear. That's not good. So, I'll talk about this more after this scene. I think we're going to find out a little bit more about what happened here. Well, we're outside now. This is a car, right? Yeah, I was going to say. Outside now, unless the car crashed through the house, then maybe we're not outside. It's a big car, though. Wrench. Okay, they're just fighting, I think. I thought someone was going to hit the other. I think they're fighting. I don't know what they're fighting over. Maybe the car? Maybe I can find out. Something's wrong with the car. Something wrong over here. Don't know. I don't know what's wrong. Haven't quite pictured that. I think it's clear that the girl is the one, this little girl, is who we're seeing in the, on the beach. Unless it just turns out that it isn't. Plot twist. That's actually possible. I don't know where this game's going. Do you know what this reminds me of? Rayman 3's final boss, the Reflux battle. I don't know if anyone feels that way. Anyone else feels that way. Anyway, to get back onto Final Fantasy 15, and I know it's sort of breaking the mood that we've got here, but I feel like it just needs to be addressed. Because saying a game delay is not a big deal is true. Oh wow. Is this a boss fight? No. Ooh. To get going on another one of these. But yeah. Kotaku and someone else, I can't remember exactly who, posted that the game was being delayed before Square Enix officially announced it. And people phoned like 30 GameStops and were like, nope, they haven't confirmed it, so it can't be real, they're lying, they're completely lying. And say they're lying, who cares? These people received death threats, and this isn't the first time. It happened with No Man's Sky as well. No Man's Sky was originally going to come out in June. Kotaku announced that it was going to be delayed from a very viable source. They were right, but it was before Hello Games announced that, or Sony announced it. And they got massive death threats. Countless death threats. Like, I think somewhere in the 20s, maybe more. And it's idiotic. Who cares? Who actually cares? If they're lying, then they're doing it for clickbait, and so what? It'll be over, they'll lose credibility, and that's it. That'll be the end of it. But if they're right, why send them death threats? What do you gain from that? The game you want is coming out still, and it will be the game you want. The game you want isn't ready yet, and that's why it's being delayed. And when I say you, I'm not saying it directly at you, the viewer, but you know what I mean. I'm addressing just a person. But it boggles my mind. I don't understand it. And whilst the industry is so fresh and creative and forgiving and kind, and we see it at times like E3, any comment section on YouTube describing an indie game, or describing Microsoft versus Sony, it's horrible. It's a horrible, dark side of the community. And I've never understood where it comes from. I personally don't like to engage in comments on YouTube when it comes to stuff like that. When they're... Oh, it started raining. Whoa. When they're... Yeah, this is Arcadia Bay, alright? When they're... You know... just so uninformed, we'll say, because stupidity isn't uninformed, it's more accurate. That may not change their opinion if they became informed, but it is uninformed. I don't like to get into conversations because sometimes there is no reasoning and you will get into ridiculous debates about it. But I think we're about to enter our next chapter. Huh. Oh, the level's raining as well. Wow. this place has changed already. And I think that's where I'm going to leave off. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Oh my god, look! The raindrops are X, circle, triangle, square for the PlayStation symbols. That's freaking cool! That's super cool! Oh my god, I love that. Oh my god, I love that. That is amazing. Yeah, this is where I'm going to leave off. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a little bit different. But the industry and how I operate when it comes to games, I feel like this needs to be addressed. Not because I'm the one to tell you, because loads of people can tell you this. The people who've received death threats, the people who understand what the industry's like, anyone in the industry. We can all tell you the same thing, although we'll have varying opinions, but ultimately the good ones will have the same. Game delays are not a bad thing. Makes the game better. We all have a different way of operating, but this is mine. And you need to know that if you're gonna be in my channel. You need to appreciate how I feel about games, how I want to appreciate them more. I think also, knowing someone in the industry, you just get a greater appreciation for it. You learn so much and you understand what they do and what they go through. Because I don't know if you necessarily know this, but game developers work 20 hours a day. They sleep at their offices in the last 2-3 months of a game development to make sure it's perfect for you. Or at least as perfect as they can physically make it. And yeah, there are bugs along the way. There are issues. Some games aren't great. Some games have issues. Some games, even some great games, have bugs immediately. I don't think you quite understand how difficult it is to squash a bug. You squash one bug, it breaks the rest of the game. It's impossibly difficult to find a bug and not ruin something else. But at the end of the day, what we get is something like this, or an Uncharted, or an Undertale, or a Crash Bandicoot, or a Kingdom Hearts, or a Persona. And it isn't just a game, it's an experience, it's art. It's a memory, it's a thing that saves your life. And that, in its own way, is very important, and we need to acknowledge and respect exactly what the industry is and what it does for just everyone. And maybe that hasn't happened to you yet. Maybe you haven't had a game that has fundamentally changed your life, that maybe has saved your life. Persona saved mine. I was very depressed and it made me happy. But there will be a time one day when maybe it's not necessarily a game, maybe that won't be the case for you, but something. You just won't be feeling great. And something will come along and change that and just make you so happy. And it is important. It's very important to remember that that stuff exists. Oh man, I didn't realise you could jump out the window. That's, no, let's not do that. But yeah, that's very important. But anyway, sorry, I went on a little bit longer because I just... This is a discuss things, but I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below. Tell me exactly what you think about what I've said, your state and your opinions on the state of the industry. You know, your stance on it all. Like, how do you feel? Because it genuinely fascinates me, and I hope that in some small way I've enlightened you or informed you about something or just intrigued you about how things work or how I work, or, you know, because I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating, and I think it's very important to engage with your audience in that way. Let them know exactly what they're in for, how you feel about certain things. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.